look at me, I'm in Las Vegas again, one last time before my baby is born. Fun story, the day before I flew out, actually the morning that I flew out, Bree woke up and said, I think I might have had contractions last night, to which I said, please no, let me go on this trip one time. So here I am, the contractions weren't real. I'm here one last time for a bachelor party that starts today. Today is Thursday. I arrived yesterday. Part of that is to get rid of that sort of goblin mode that consumes you at the first couple minutes of being in Las Vegas. Got to keep looking down here and making sure that there's no wardrobe malfunctions. Got the socks on so you can't see my dogs. Trying to stay on topic, but as you can see here, I still have pages and pages and pages of notes of things to talk about regarding Las Vegas. Even though I made a full, very detailed, scripted, hour-long video that took forever to make on my main channel called The Internet Shaquille Guide to Las Vegas. I am very proud of how that turned out. I still stand by everything that I said, but there were some misconceptions that I wanted to revisit, talk about some extra things that got left out. Here's a good example. Somebody on Discord was in Las Vegas and messaged me, oh, I'm so sorry to say it, but I'm at a buffet, even though you say you didn't like buffets. And to me, I'm like, I never said I didn't like buffets. Went back and rewatched it. There's a part where I say, I think that any mid-tier buffet is a waste too, since there's so much to eat. I wouldn't want to waste 2 meals on a 5 times more expensive version of Golden Corral. But the where to eat section of that video got so long that I cut out my 3 buffet recommendations, so it looks like I just hate buffets. So here's the part that got cut out. If you are trying to go to a buffet, go to Bacchanal if you're going to feed a crowd, because there's a large selection, and so you'll be able to please a crowd. Wicked Spoon inside the Cosmopolitan if you've got a big group full of foodies, because you can have bone marrow for breakfast, say. And the buffet at the Wynn if you're on the north side by the Wynn, and if you just want to see something pretty. It's a pretty place to have a buffet. All the winners are celebrating at Bacchanal Buffet, the signature buffet experience at Caesar's Palace. I have here the perfect example of why you might want to come here. This is a ube-flavored horchata. Now, if I say this is really good, if I say this is really bad, it doesn't matter. If you want to try an ube horchata, where the hell else are you going to try it? Ben just sat down, and from what I hear, he's got a hot tip about the bathrooms.
2 stalls, a line. Take care of it before or after, but not during.
Oh. Just the general vibe in Vegas right now. It is hustling. It is bustling. The MSG Sphere is now open. It opened on the 4th of July, and I was watching that. You know, when they did the updates, when they were doing the screen tests, I was paying a lot of attention to that because I thought it was really cool. And now that it's up, it's sort of a meme, which is kind of interesting because now people care about it. I do wish, I don't know if you remember this sort of throwaway joke from Futurama, where in the future, Madison Square Garden is called Madison Cube Garden. And I wish that this thing was called Madison Sphere Garden. It's just a little bit of missed opportunity. But that's happening. There's an F1 racetrack being built out of the entire strip, so construction is crazy. I don't have the mic plugged in, but if this is any indicator of what the traffic is like for F1, the start of the racetrack is right over there. This is Koval Street, pretty big street right next to Las Vegas Boulevard, and it has been a parking lot since I got here. All day, all night. There's no point in getting an Uber. You just have to walk. The World Series of Poker is happening right now. I've been following that because when you play poker at a really high level, you have to get a company like Aria or DraftKings to sponsor you and stake you and say, here's $50,000. That'll cover your $10,000 entry fee and give you $40,000 to gamble with of our money. But when you win, if you win, we want a portion of your winnings. That has kept, I think, people out of professional poker, but now there's it's sort of like a GoFundMe for staking where people can say, well, we'll chip in until you have $50,000 and then you can pay us back a little bit if you win. And I saw a TikToker named Bretsky do that, and I thought that was fascinating, so I've been paying attention to that. Also, the heat here is oppressive. Yes, it is a little bit hotter in Arizona, but right here where you're doing a lot of walking and you're surrounded by concrete and metal, it's pretty tough out here to be walking around. Back to the first Vegas video that I posted. A lot of it was about crowd pleasers, and it's not that I muted my own sense of taste, it's that I wanted not to inject too much of my bias onto that video because it really is meant to be a guide for a good number of people. So for example, like if I don't know anything about you and you ask me where should I stay in Las Vegas, I'll probably say Caesars or MGM if price is not an issue because, sorry, I should be more specific, Caesars Palace or MGM Grand, their flagship hotels. They both have shopping, they both have shows, restaurants, pools. Now, as I get to know you a little better, I might say, hey, if you're a hot, hard body, maybe you want to go to the Caesars pool because everybody's there gawking at everybody. It's like a stage for you to perform on. And if you're a little more insecure like me, maybe you go to the MGM Grand so that you can slink away into their more hidden pools, float on the lazy river. It's less of a gathering of people to come and look at each other. I am also, I think, not very relatable in terms of what I want to get out of Las Vegas. And part of that is, guess what, everybody? I am now officially a medium roller. That's right. Huge life update. I am a medium roller. I don't think I'll ever be a high roller. I don't think anybody will ever be a high roller who's watching this, unless you're a legitimate celebrity or multimillionaire. I don't think you can be a high roller because status doesn't matter here nearly as much as money does. And I know I've emailed, tweeted, DM'd, they all send me around MGM properties, Caesars properties saying, hey, I'm showing up with a camera and 2 lenses and all sorts of stuff, and I don't want to get kicked out. Can you just tell me that I'm okay to shoot here? And they're like, we don't give you any special treatment. We don't care if you're a YouTuber, if you have 10 billion followers. You got to have money, and that's really the only way you can get special treatment. So, as you can see, I'm shooting on my phone here. I didn't bring any camera equipment. This is actually not even a microphone. It's a wireless microphone receiver inside a 3D printed housing handle. Very excited about this purchase. It makes it look like I'm using a quite good microphone when in reality it's just a wireless one. Vegas, I mentioned this, is a place of low value right now. I mentioned this in the first video. I thought that the value would start trending in a better direction with recession fears and inflation, but it's actually getting worse. MGM just announced that not only do your tier points that you accumulate throughout the year reset back to 0 on January 1st, but you can't do tier matching, which means if you have platinum status or whatever at Caesars, you can't come to MGM and say, hey, give me platinum status here, which back in the day you could do that, and it made sense because it's like, oh, we want you in our ecosystem. You're obviously a big spender over there. Why don't you come be a big spender over here? But they're not doing that anymore, which means Caesars will probably start doing the same thing because between the two of them, they own 60% of the real estate, if not more, and so it becomes the new normal whenever they link up and decide to fix prices or do something stinky in that way. So even though the value is still very low, I do want to say I came back recently from a trip last weekend to Austin, and the value there was incredibly low. The difference being I'm spending $16 for a cocktail while sitting in a dirt lot while it's extremely hot, misters are blowing in my face, and there's flies landing all over my food. Even the fancy meals, the James Beard winners, they were serving wasabi aioli, 3 different types of aiolis. It's like, what's happening here? Why is the value plummeting so low? Why am I paying Vegas-level prices for a dirt lot? At least here, if I'm paying $16 for a cocktail, I've got a lot of cool things to look at and hear and see. That's just me. I'm happy to be here. I don't know if this is a countrywide thing that's happening at all the hot spots, but I'm feeling a little bit less down on Vegas after going to Austin. That being said, I do feel bad for the older generations who are used to being able to have a free steak dinner, 99-cent shrimp cocktail as a means to get you to come here because that doesn't exist anymore. I should talk about this room. I'm staying in the Aria one night early, and this room was free. I just got done taking a nice bath with their eucalyptus bath salts. I've never really been one for taking baths, but the fact that they not only give you the option to bathe, but make it inviting with a little packet of salts, it got me. And so now I'm here in the robe, looking out this big window, enjoying my free room. But how did I get this room? Well, I'm a medium roller, baby, as I said. I left all of this out of the main Vegas video because it would take like 45 minutes to explain in meaningful detail. There's a suite of apps called My Vegas. So there's My Vegas Slots, My Vegas Tetris, and it's like, sure, if you love playing Tetris, play the My Vegas version, and you'll win real rewards. The problem is you accrue rewards really slowly. These games are those awful types of mobile games where there's 5 pop-up ads before you can even press the first button. When it comes to redemption time, you might have blackout dates. You can only have 3 premium rewards per visit. You don't know what is or isn't a premium reward. So I could see somebody saving up and spending a bunch of time just to be really disappointed when it comes redemption time. I spent like a full year just waking up first thing in the morning, set the slots to auto spin, brush my teeth, eat breakfast, get ready for the day, and then I've spun slots for like 4 hours every day, and that's how I gained so many points that I cannot use them fast enough. But my mistake was signing up on iOS. You can also sign up on Facebook, And if you sign up on Facebook, then you can just leave it open in a tab on your computer. That way you don't even need to put your phone away while the slots are running. And all these sort of little tidbits, like over time, I came to realize and learn the value of one specific chip. They have this sort of fake currency called chips, and you can buy the chips with real money. And I started doing calculations where I knew, okay, once they go on sale this much, it becomes worth it to buy $4 worth of chips. That kind of mental energy is probably not worth saving $50 on your trip. Or maybe it is. Let me give you an example of the rewards that I got for this trip. I got this room for free. I got a $20 credit to my dinner last night, and I got two $25 match plays at, what's that place called? Park MGM. Match play is also kind of complicated to explain. I'm oversimplifying all this because I could truly talk for hours about it. Match play is saying I put down a bet for $25 on a blackjack hand, and they will put down a bet on my behalf to match it. If I lose the $25, and if I win, instead of getting paid $25, I get paid $50. And so I did that last night on blackjack. I don't like blackjack. I don't enjoy it, but this was the only thing that I could get match play on, so that's what I did. I was dealt an 11, the best hand you can get, and the dealer was dealt a 3, which is one of the worst hands that she could get. And I said, yeah, I know I should really double this. And she said, not only can you double your $25 bet, you can double with the match play too. So you can put in $50 and match that. And I was like, oh, I really should, shouldn't I? She's like, you have an 11, I have a 3. She wasn't coercive. It was my fault. But I lost. And then I did it again with my second match play, and I got an 11 again and lost again. You could not write a worse roller coaster of emotions for a gambling experience than free play, buying in more than you should, and still losing with the best hand twice in a row. Incredible. I'm also probably going to get a free drink down at the lobby bar when I check out because that's my last remaining reward that I can use here this weekend. I'm leaving this hotel today to go to the Linq where all the bachelor party stuff is happening. So I don't necessarily want to encourage anybody to use the My Vegas app. In retrospect, it's kind of silly that I spent all that time doing it, but I have the points, and so I'm using them. And so talking about apps and gambling styles and my own personal experience, you can see why I had to keep things, or why I chose to keep things broad from my general Vegas guide. Even on this trip, I'm not allowing myself to go to Best Friend or Amalfi. I really would like to expand my horizons. I did that last night. I was very happy with the result. I still am going to Lotus of Siam. You can't take me away from that place. What's interesting is I was talking to somebody last night, and he's like, have you heard of Secret of Siam? They get conflated a lot, and that's not good because Secret of Siam just got in trouble for allegedly putting THC in their food without people knowing, which, people were leaving their meal like, whoa, I feel great. What a great meal, not knowing that they had been dosed with drugs. Anyway, last night I went to Julian Serrano. I don't know if it's Julian Serrano or whatever, but, celebrity chef. Spanish tapas bar style. I wanted to try the Gamba al ajillo because I make that so often at home. I wanted to be like, well, let's see how the pro does it. But I didn't go for that. I got albondigas, which was a tenderloin meatball. Kind of interesting to do a tenderloin. Not really my first choice, especially because it's already being mechanically tenderized by turning it into a meatball, grinding it up. So you could make a brisket meatball and it'll still taste good, even though it's a tough cut of meat. It was good. It had some interesting flavors. The tiradito, which is like a sort of like a ceviche, and the leche de tigre. I can't say it with the accent. This is one of those words like guacamole. The leche de tigre, which is the liquid that the ceviche is soaked in, this had blood orange in it, and it was foamed. So it had a little micro foam of leche de tigre, which was really fantastic. A great textural experience. And then something called pisto manchego, which I'd never had before. Tomato, eggplant, squash. You're thinking, I know what that tastes like. But something about it, I don't know if it was like a Spanish vinegar on top. They were stewed really perfectly so that they were soft like a shakshuka experience, but they still held their shape. There was a single poached egg on top, really great crusty bread. I was eating it and said to myself while dining alone, wow. And that was a really great experience. I'd love to go back and try the paella. Their paella it serves 2, so I didn't want to show up and order 2 people's worth of food, even though I guess when I ordered 3 entrees, I kind of did. But it was also all free. I checked into this room, and there was a huge wet spot over here. I guess the AC next door was leaking into the carpet. And I wasn't trying to get anything out of it, but I called the front desk, and I said, hey, there's a huge wet spot here. Something's leaking, and I just don't want to get charged for it when I check out like I did something wrong. She said, okay, do you want a room change? And I said, man, not really. I just checked in. these hallways are so long. It takes like 10 minutes just to get to your room. I just unpacked. I'm okay. I just wanted to let you know. She said, okay, well, I added $100 in food and drink credit to your account. So yes, very nice. Between the $20 My Vegas credit for dinner last night and the $100 that I got from that, I still have a little bit left over to go to the food court over here and get a nice breakfast before I go away. By the way, that is definitely one thing that I left out of the original video. You should check out in person here. I know that normally, especially myself, I like to go just leave. Sometimes I'll call the front desk and say, hey, I'm checking out. And they'll be like, oh, cool, thanks for telling me. And they just leave. But here in Las Vegas, you never know if you jostled one of the sensors. A lot of these mini bars have sensors in them that tell people whether or not you took something. And so when you're checking out, they might say, hey, you owe us $15 for a water bottle. And you're like, I didn't get a water bottle. I know at Mirage last time I was charged $10 for a bag of peanut M&Ms. And I was like, I'm rooming here with somebody with a peanut allergy. I didn't get the peanut M&Ms. And they're like, oh, my mistake. Took it right off. So checking out in person is worth it. They have these sort of check-in, check-out on your mobile phone options. I don't really like those, especially because right now I said, hey, can I check out late from this room? And they said, sure, you can leave at 12 instead of 11, and it's free, which is great because if I did it through the mobile app, it would say, how late do you want to stay? And we'll charge you $100 to $400 depending on how late you want to stay, which is easier in that you don't have to talk to a person, but stinkier in that it costs money. I have a lot of notes here about Ellis Island. That's one thing that was definitely missing from my main Vegas video. My perfect day in Las Vegas is you go eat dinner at Lotus of Siam, drive halfway back to the Strip, stop at Ellis Island, and just stay there for like 5 hours, then go back to the Strip. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to talk about Ellis Island in this portion of the video. This is going to end up being some sort of like half podcast, half vlog. Who actually knows? Not me. But I met up with Nick Fava, who's an executive host, I think the executive host at Ellis Island, and that was really what sealed the deal in terms of me feeling like a medium roller. These people out here at these MGM properties, they don't know my name. I am a number to them. It's all just based on numbers. But there's a certain humanity to Ellis Island that I want to cover there, and as part of my request to cover that, they said, hey, you can even film in here, which is incredible. I'm finally able to record footage inside of a casino, which will be my first time. I would imagine nobody really wants to stare at me in my robe much longer, so I am going to pack up, check out, make my way to the Linq after enjoying my last few hours here, and pick up where I left off now that the bachelor party portion of this trip is beginning. Truly, what the hell is this room art? It's a blonde having a thought? Well, here I am at the Linq for night number 2 of this trip. As you can tell by the maybe me not even being in frame and the less than cinematic lighting, it's less big open windows and more reminiscent of a jail cell. But it's like 75% cheaper than the Aria, and I used up my free room and I don't want to pay full prices. I really should stop going to the nice place first and then downgrading, but usually the nicest places are easier to get in the middle of the week, and so as the weekend comes closer, it just makes sense to travel more towards the cheaper side. I do know this area really intimately, so it's been nice to be the sort of travel guide where it's like, oh, there's a shortcut to get there, 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 and there, which has been nice. I have been trying to expand my horizons. We went to a new place for lunch/dinner called, I believe, Mott 32. Really crazy stuff over there. We'll do a cutaway right now. We're here at Mott 32 eating a very expensive dinner, and my friend Matthew, who's holding the camera right now, said, watch, he's going to pull out his phone and make this a tax write-off, which is very similar to the people who commented on the Las Vegas video saying, leave it up to Internet Shaquille to turn this whole trip into a tax write-off, to which I say, a tax write-off, first of all, is for business purposes only. And I did a little bit of this when I started making tax write-off jokes in my own video, but those were to prove to the IRS that it was legitimate. Those were not jokes. Those were actually true documentation, just like this video is a true documentation of my meal. If the IRS is watching, every single pizza that I've made in this device has been practiced up until this video. It's a business expense, okay? Second of all, a tax write-off is really only like a 30% discount because it just means you don't pay tax on it. And with that, I will be enjoying my yummy meal. Look at this drink. It is an old-fashioned that is fat washed with duck fat. This is a very Peking duck dunk. This is a very Peking duck heavy restaurant, and so the fat wash lends the drink a little bit of a funky duck flavor at the end. You wouldn't believe it. For breakfast this morning, I used the last of my food and drink comps to eat at a bagel place inside of the Aria food hall. I talked about food halls before, but this is the first time I've actually eaten at one. I expected it to be more of like a school lunch, Aramark, Cisco type meal, but it was actually quite remarkable. They had the folded egg that you know and love, but with a little bit of crisp on the edge. There was pastrami on top. It's one of those marvels of supply chain management where you're like, this is relatively inexpensive, and it's not knocking my socks off, but I really am intrigued by how they made this happen. Sort of like when you go to Chipotle, or at least when Chipotle was a new thing, and you're like, wow, everything here is a whole different supply chain that I'm not used to. But in general, I'm trying to sort of lift the fog of war. I don't know if you played any kind of MOBA games or anything like that where you have the fog of war, and as you visit certain areas of the map, they stop being foggy and you can see the landmarks. But as I go to more and more new places, I am lifting that fog of war. I'm not so excited about lifting the fog of war regarding what's happening tomorrow morning. I am going to bed at a nice early 9:30 right now because I am trying to be up and spry for the big 18-hole golf game that we are playing tomorrow. 6 men in the dead of heat, nice and early in the morning. As you know, hot people all have IBS, and I don't know if you've gazed upon my visage recently, but I'm quite hot. And so I'm very nervous about being out in the sun with no access to a bathroom at that time of morning. So this is actually my nightmare. I think once I can get through that 18 holes of golf getting baked in the sun, if I can just make it through that hump, I get to reward myself with a little bit of Lotus, a little bit of Ellis Island. We did some gambling today, but we're really saving most of our gambling money for the big Ellis Island Gamblepalooza tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see how that golfing goes. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas National Golf Club. None of us have eaten, none of us have slept. There's an entire handle of whiskey on board, and everybody's drinking. Growing up when I was little, maybe about 10, 12, I used to do something called JPGA, the Junior Professional Golf Association. And part of that is it's all kids, and so the adults don't get to watch you play, but they do get to watch you tee off at the first hole. And when I first did my first tee off at my first tournament, I hit an insane dinger of a shot that landed right on the green. Everybody gasped and clapped, and my dad was probably in the clubhouse the whole time thinking, here we go, Tiger Woods Jr., he's a prodigy, only for me to come home and say I beefed it for the rest of the course, and I probably got a plus 500 score or something ridiculous. That's when I stopped loving golf, and that's why I stopped playing it at the age of about 12. But it seems as though the muscle memory has attached itself to a deep cortex within my brain, because I did quite well at the beginning of this, but in true Junior PGA Tour fashion, I started getting incredibly bad as time went on. If there's one major complaint that was made in my previous Las Vegas guide, it's that I didn't talk too much about the nature. There's some kind of park where you can go watch, what are they, bighorn sheep or rams? There's hiking, there's all sorts of trails you can do. But now that I'm 9 holes deep into this 18-hole golf course, feeling like this is about as much nature as I can take, just know that you won't get that kind of information out of me. So I'm sorry to say it, it's not coming.
There's a few studs out here too if you look hard.
Hey, yo. Look at all these chickens.
Enjoy yourself, people. Life is too short.
Amen. Amen. What's the least favorite thing that people do to the bar cart attendants?
Fondle us. As I said, hey, that's going to cost you, okay?
Jeez.
And what's your favorite thing that they do?
Tip big.
There we go.
Tip big
Tip
and
big.
maybe a Yelp review?
And a great Yelp review.
Las Vegas National Golf Club. Go leave a Yelp review. Tell them Joanne took care of you. And even if she didn't, tell them she will. We are here at the front yard at Ellis Island. I don't even know if you can hear me because the AC is blasting so hard. We are outside, and yet it is cooler than it is inside because of the fantastic swamp coolers, duct work, and overall fresh air that's in here. By the way, these beers are $4 for a full pint. Where are you going to find that in Las Vegas? The answer is nowhere, and I've had several of them, as you can probably tell. Believe it or not, we're actually allowed to shoot inside of Ellis Island because we are, after all, medium rollers. The rule is only slots, only video poker, only video craps, and nobody in the background. Matthew, the man who's about to get married, he is required by his GF, who loves Wheel of Fortune, to play Wheel of Fortune every time he comes. Let's see how he does. What do you need to get a spin? 3 spins?
I have no idea, but we're gonna keep playing. I don't know how this game works. Spin, 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 spin.
Okay, we'll take it.
We'll take
He's
it.
playing $5 per spin, 5 credits per spin. 10.
We up.
Hey, we up. We up.
baby.
By the way, we're all very drunk and we're all very up. Matthew just hit an absolute banger. Oh.
No, spin bit.
Oh. This is going to be
Absolute tear on the blackjack table.
a full-time slots channel.
All right.
Hey, yo. Oh.
We want to spin.
We want to spin.
We want to spin. Okay.
We're
we'll
God's
take that.
weakest warriors. We've
Weakest
never
warriors.
been dealt a
But
hard
we are
battle.
on the battlefield, I tell you.
Oh, red hot? Oh, no. Okay, he's got
All
a
right,
little
we're
bit
almost
left.
there, boys.
By the way, I have to put this in the video as proof to Matt's GF that he did play Wheel of Fortune on her behalf.
Oh, no! We are God's weakest warriors.
We're God's weakest warriors. Hey, yo. Oh. Brutalized.
Sorry, babe.
Hey,
I tried. Tell my wife I tried.
what can you do? Okay, we are leaving Ellis Island. Did we win? No. Did we have fun? Yes. It is a very cheap place. You got to think of it less like a Las Vegas, but cheaper and more of like your favorite local bar and Vegas-ified. The Craps is $5. There's karaoke. If I tried to make my own dream place, it would have karaoke, really good barbecue, #1 in Las Vegas, repeatedly rated #1 in Las Vegas, and cheap beer, I think $4. What was the tap, Ben? $4 for a light beer, a pint on tap. Incredible. It's like a local sports bar, and everybody here is kind of half local, half Vegas. It's a good time to be had by all. I'm very drunk, as you can tell by my inability to speak coherently. Nick Fava took care of us. He made sure that we had credit on our account. I feel like a medium roller. There's a certain sense of humanity to being here. You know, when you go to the Linq and you say, oh, I want to check in, they say, go use the kiosk. There's no humanity there. The kiosk is going to tell you that you owe $60 because you're checking in at 1 instead of 3:30. Here, you're a human. You're not a number, and I like that. And you know, that's something that I didn't put in my main Vegas video because I understand it's not for everybody, but for me, I can't think of a better place than Ellis Island. Why is the flash on? Oh no. Behind me now is the stage door. It looks like a regular discount grocer, liquor store, and general corner store, but it's actually a full-on bar and casino inside. When I told Ben, who's recording this, that that was the truth, he said, oh, nuh-uh, you mean there's a bar and casino in Las Vegas? And that's kind of generally how I feel about these insider tips. It's like, what's the point of knowing them? Oh, guess what? There's a place to eat. There's a place to gamble. Well, now you know. There's one. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot divier. And you will see it on the walk back from Ellis Island to the Strip.
We just got back from an epic time at Ellis Island, and we had 3 dealers, all of which in their own right were super awesome. But there was definitely a favorite amongst the 3. And first, we're going to ask Richard Garcia what your favorite dealer was.
It was a close one at the end. I mean, they were all doing their best, but I would have to say the one that put it right over the edge was Tracy. She killed it. I mean, she was just basically giving us the money. She really did her best, and I would definitely recommend her to anyone who's trying to play blackjack.
Tracy was a hot take. Tracy dealt good. Tracy dealt hard. We loved it. What about you, Reese?
I think Chris brought the vibes. He's definitely got the ball rolling. A lot of good jokes, maybe a little off-the-chain jokes too. But Xiao takes it by far. Xiao brought us money. She showed us. She brought everything. She even a little bit of Mandarin.
Yes, sir.
Can't hurt with that. Xiao.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If I were to cast my vote, I'd have to say a big shishya to Xiao, who brought it home for all of us, man. We were winning, and we won big. We left up, boys. We out.
A lot of these casinos and restaurants, they're blaring music like "You Should Go and Love Yourself," just like old top 40 hits from 2 or 3 years ago, and it's way too loud. But you find a place like Lotus of Siam where they're playing top 40 hits in jazzy covers, and you're just jamming out to a do-do-do-do-da, yada do-do-do. And it's all about knowing exactly what you want, exactly what you need, and for me, I figured it out. For my friend over here, I'll be praying for him.
Pray for all of us. 1 night left.
Fear is faith in the devil's plan. Hard 6, parlay into a 12-way hard 8. You'll win every time. We've now officially reached the point in every all-boys Vegas trip where people start moaning and groaning and going, Ben ate 2 bites of food and for reasons we will not share had to leave the buffet.
Phone call.
I think the problem with buffets is that every conversation around them ultimately leads to a conversation about value, to which I say, as soon as you get to 4 diners or more, it stops to make sense. Any thoughts?
I like to quote Ben Tinney's father, and you got to have something sweet. And every buffet with cheesecake and a coffee.
That was true. The beverage selection and the dessert selection. If you get down with bevs and sweets, it's a lot easier to make the case.
After time, never coming back to this shithole.
This is how you tell someone got into a bad headspace while gambling. The man threw his last $5 chip into the trash. Here we are in Matt's Linq room, the Bachelor boy. I'm all the way in District 3. The Linq is split up into 3 separate districts. 2 is the popular one, and I got a hot tip that District 3 gets its own elevator. Little did I know, every district gets its own elevator, so I paid extra for nothing. How do you feel about your room?
Well, it's right next to the pizza ATM, so great.
That's literally the next thing on my list is Buddy's chokehold. Buddy Velastro has a chokehold on every Caesars property. He's got pizza vending machines, establishments, mozzarella house. I don't know how he did it, but we need Bobby Flay to get that same chokehold on Caesars properties. The main takeaway from Las Vegas, whether you gamble or eat a lot or do nothing, is to leave with a story. And I have several stories here written down. Would you like to tell your $120 story?
I don't remember which one's that.
Well, Matt was so proud of himself. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
How did you guys lose money? I'm staying at 120. I can't go up. I can't go down. I'm betting. I haven't lost a penny. Little did he know, he went 30 minutes without actually gambling because he was never putting up the minimum bet. So he was just never playing. He's like, yes, I'm still at 120. And if you can trick yourself into not gambling and thinking you are, that's kind of a perfect outcome.
Might I suggest pina colada with a shot of Hennessy?
Does
yeah. Wonders.
In terms of free drinks, I still do my, can I please have a glass of cognac? And they say, is Hennessy okay? I'm like, it'll do.
Fine.
But a pina colada with a shot of Hennessy in it is also quite good, especially if you're coming back from the pool.
Yeah.
There, let's see. Our Uber driver was secretly an OnlyFans cameraman / model.
So we were standing outside after golfing, and we were.
I don't want to expose him too much because he also has a second job where you definitely cannot have an OnlyFans, and so when he messages me, we did link up. He does have my contact information now. When he messages me for that promo, I'll be giving it to him. But for now, he is definitely laying low on that front of his business. I think that this is a very good place to be an alcoholic, by the way, but a very bad place to be addicted to coffee, especially because a lot of the Starbucks lines are very long, not a whole lot of options. I do bring Cometeer. Have you ever tried Cometeer? Those little pods that you melt?
No.
I hate talking about it because it's like #sponsored, but I do have an affiliate link, so I will put it in the description. It's like it's expensive for coffee. It's like $6 per. But it's better than spending $12 down here, and you get it whenever you want. You don't have to wait 30 minutes. So I always bring my insulated water bottle to Vegas so I can fill it up with water. On the way in, it's got to be empty, so I just fill it with frozen Cometeer pods. It stays frozen. Put it in the freezer or the fridge as soon as you can. Or if you don't have a fridge in your room, get an ice bucket, put it in there.
Sounds delicious.
My favorite part about all this is I've been switching outfits like 3 times a day so that there's no continuity, so I can cut this up to make it look like we're on day 1 right now, even though some of us are very much hurting.
So, I'm hurting.
As you know, I'm here with my friend Ben Tierney, who got delivered a disastrous capital L this trip. His AC in Arizona has died. It's about 118 there this weekend, and his girlfriend is there alone, throwing herself a birthday party. Ben has been in such a dark place that he's had his curtains drawn, sitting in the dark, listening to nothing but hold music for other AC technicians. Then he texted me a manifesto from his notes app. Taking the floor is Ben Tierney to read that manifesto.
Thank you. Yeah, Ben Tierney here, Fun Police. I've been court-martialed by the Court of the Bachelors to deliver a statement. I don't think there is a place on earth that I enjoy less than Las Vegas. My grandparents lived here, and so I've been coming here every year of my life. I realize that that is baggage, but I don't think I'm alone in saying that this place isn't for everyone. There's no reprieve from the assault on the senses that this place offers. Everywhere is loud, every place smells bad, and everything is disgusting. Disgusting not in the sense that everything is dirty, which it is, but the fact that nothing at all is beautiful. Your only chance at peace is to crawl back into your cell, and even then it's likely there's a bachelorette next door disturbing your nap. Which I get it, you know, some of us know how to have fun, but some don't. That being said, the fact that I am here to begin with is a testament to how much I love my friends, and appreciate that there is a high cost of entry for any socializing past your 20s, regardless of where you end up meeting. And I guess that's one redeeming thing about Vegas, is that you're at least likely to end up with a story, and in the end, that's all we have.
Folks, you've heard of a best man speech. How about a worst man speech? I love being here with my friends. I love winning. I love eating yummy, yummy food. Woohoo! Yeah, I love Las Vegas. Yeah, do my diggity.
God's favorite boy.
I'm God's favorite boy.